Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, we will learn about slicing and dicing in Python. So what do we mean by slicing and dicing? We know that Python has some iterables which can be indexed, and an example of iterable which cannot be indexed is a set, correct? So slicing and dicing can be applied only on those things which can be indexed and they are iterables, okay? So we'll see it. Let's say I'm creating a list called as my list1 is equal to, I have some elements in it, 6 and 7. Okay, so this is my list. Now if I want to select let's say if I want to select element at the third index, when I mean third index, it's 0th index, first index, second index and third index, right? So I have to pass 3. This will give us the answer as 4 because at third index we have element 4. This is how we select an individual element from a list. Okay. Now let's say if I want to select few elements, not only one, and I want to select elements starting from 0th index and till the end of 5th index. Okay. So how I can do that? So I can say my list1 of start index is 0 and end index is 5, and I want to increment it by 1. So I am not specifying any step argument here. It will be left as it is. By default it will be 1. So now if I execute it, you can see 0th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It gives us the answer till 4th index because this is an exclusive value when we are slicing. Okay. So the general syntax for slicing in Python is, we use a pair of square brackets. Okay. The first argument is called as start index. The second argument is called as end index or stop index. And the third argument is called as step index. Okay. So what do I mean by step? Step is something which determines how many jumps I make after accessing an element. Okay. So let's say I'm accessing element at 0th index. If I do not specify any step, the default value will be 1 for this. Okay. So I have to jump by 1 index. So if I jump from 0 to 1 index, I will be at index number 1. So I will be fetching the element 2. Again, I have to jump by 1 step. So I will be pointing to this particular index here, which will be storing the element 3. Okay, so this is what step determines, how many steps I have to jump from the current index. And in this case, start index will be inclusive. Okay, stop or end index will be exclusive. So when I say exclusive, whatever you say as a stop index, here in this example I have given 5 as my stop index, right? This index will be exclusive. I mean to say only the element starting from 0 to 5 minus 1 will be fetched. Okay. So this is what I mean by exclusive. 0 or the start index will be exclusive as always. Okay. Keep that in mind. Now if I want to increase my step value, let's say if I I'll copy this and I'll execute it as like this. So my start index is 0, my end index is 5, but the step will be 2. What it does? It will jump every 2 steps. Okay, it will take 2 steps at a time. So first it will be starting at 0. After taking 2 steps, it will be fetching 3 for me. After taking 2 steps here, it will be fetching 5 for me. Okay, so that's it. Since I am providing 5 as my end index, this will be exclusive and I am getting the element 5 which is a 4th index. So after this the iteration stops, it will not proceed further. So this is how we use this slicing operation on any iterable. So this is the example, we have seen it on list. We can also see it on tuples as well. So if I say my tuple 1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So same number of elements I have in tuple as well as I had in list. So I can execute the same set of commands here, only the variable name will change. If I say my tuple 1 of 0, it will fetch me an element at 0th index. Okay. Now if I say I want to fetch elements starting from 0 till 5, okay, I have to close this, right? So now I will get elements starting at 0th index, ending at 4th index, because 5 is exclusive. So exclusive index minus 1, till that index elements will be fetched. So this is how we will fetch the elements. Now if I want to step by 2 items or 2 index at a time. So if I say 2 here, you will see the elements are fetched alternatively. So when I say alternative, it's just skipping few of the elements which is determined by the step factor here. Okay. So the general syntax I have given it here: start, end or stop index, then step index. By default, step will be 1. So there is one more thing here. If I do not specify anything as my start index or end index, let's say my list 1, I just say this and execute it. It will return me from start till the end of my list. So by default, start index will be set to 0. By default, it will go till the last element in the iterable. Okay, so that determines our end or stop index. And by default, step will be 1. Okay, so this is how we can slice and dice lists and tuples. Let's say I have a dictionary. Okay, my dict1 is equal to, I have some key value pairs in it. Okay, like this. 1, 2, 1 is my key, 2 is my value in this case. 2 is my key, 3 is my value, 4 is my key, 5 is my value, 6 is my key, 7 is my value. Okay. So to avoid confusion, let's change this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay. So now my keys are 1, 3, 5 and 7. Values corresponding to those keys respectively are 2, 4, 6 and 8. Okay. So this is my dict. So if we check the type of this, it will be dict. Okay. So there's a spelling mistake here. Now it will be dict. Now you all know that we cannot index dictionary, correct? So if I say my dict of 0, it will return me key error, because this always refers to as a key value, because since I do not have any key with 0 as my key, so this will return me a key error. Now somehow I want to pass first 2 elements of this dictionary to some function or something which makes use of these 2 values. Okay, so how I can do that? So let's say I have my dict, right? You can see the content of this particular dictionary here. So we have a method called as items. So what this returns? It returns the dict items as key value pairs. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is key, this is value, this is key, this is value. So this items returns us a list of key value pairs. Okay. Now what I can do, this I can convert explicitly to my Python list. If you just check the type of this particular output, it will not be a list. Okay, it will just be dict items, it will not be list. So we cannot use slicing and dicing on this particular output. So if I say this, it says it's not subscriptable. So I have to explicitly convert it to my list of my dict1 dot items. Now it will be list. Now if you check the type of this, it will be list. Okay, this is list. Since it is list, now I can use my as usual slice and dice function. So what was my requirement? I said I wanted to use first 2 elements of this particular dictionary. So that is 1, 2 as key value pair, 3, 4 as key value pair. I want to pass them as key value pairs. So how I can do that? So it's nothing but, since I have my list ready here, so this is first element at index 0, which is 1, 2. 3, 4 is a key value pair, and this is an element at index 1. Okay. 5, 6 is at index 2. 7, 8 is at index 3. Okay. So now I said I want to make use of only first two elements. Okay, so how I can do that? I'll say 0 to 3, or if I say 3, it will give me elements till second index, but I do not want the element at second index, so I'll give 2 here. So 0 is the start index, 2 is the stop index. By default, step will be 1. So if I execute it, you'll see I got my first two elements, 1, 2 and 3, 4. So this is how you can slice even dictionary items. So instead of using this particular square brackets for slicing and dicing, there is something called as slice in Python. Okay, let's say slicing way. I am creating a variable as slicing way, and there is a method called as slice in Python. I want to slice elements till second index. So I'll execute this, and you all know the content of my list 1. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now if I say my list 1 of this slicing way as a variable, see, it will fetch me first two elements, 0 and 1. Elements are 0 and 1 index, because 2 will be exclusive. So similarly, we can say my slicing way here as start from 0. The syntax will be same. The start, step, the start, stop and step arguments. Okay. So start at 0, it will be separated by comma in this case. End at 2 and step will be 1. So now if I say this, it will give me the same output. Okay. So if I want to increase the step by 2, I'll change it to 2, and I want to fetch all the elements. Okay. I'll leave it blank. Now it will give me error because a plain null value cannot be accepted. So what I will say, I will give some 6 or 7 here, but this should not exceed the length of the list. Okay. So in order to avoid that out of the index error, what we can do, we can pass length of my list 1. So this is done. So why did I pass length of my list 1? Because let's say I do not know how many elements my list has, but I want every alternate element from it. That's why I mentioned step as 2 here, starting at 0, but I do not know the end index. That's why I am passing length of my list. So if I pass length of my list, it will give me all the elements, right? It will traverse till the end, but step will be 2. It will skip every alternate elements. So now if I say my list 1 of slicing way, see, it will give me every alternate. It gave me 1, 3, 5 and 7. Till the end, it gave me all the alternate elements. So this is how we can directly slice and dice using a pair of square brackets, or we can make use of slice function in Python to get the elements, or to use slicing and dicing. Okay. So that's all for this video, guys. Hope you learned and enjoyed this video. Thanks. Bye bye.